Hey everybody, this is Tom again in Western North Carolina near John C. Campbell Folk School. This is going to be episode 12 on how to make a chair, and what it's going to be mostly about is how to get your back posts ready to put the mortises in them for your slats. Anyways, we're going to get to that in a minute, and I don't think my head's going to be in the shot a lot of the times, but I want you to see what I'm doing more than I want you to see what I look like. Anyways, in the last video, we did the frame front, and I think I forgot to tell you that this little edge right around the inside corner of this thing here is, after you get this all sweetened up, you also need to put just a little bitty chamfer, around this edge right here. And I just do that with a knife, just a little bit. So anyways, sorry I forgot to tell you about that. But now I've got all my fronts all put together, and we're starting to work on the back. And anyways, you have your two back posts. Like I say, my head's probably not in the picture, but you got your two back posts roughed out, bent. And what I want to happen is, I want those back posts to be able to lay flat on the bench when I put my mortise in them. So anyways, and one of the things I want is for this front face to be perpendicular to the bench. And I want this to lay flat and be able to clamp down. Now a lot of times in these two here, they don't necessarily lay all the way flat from the very end to the other very end, but if you can get this section from the top to right in here to lay flat, that's good enough, as long as this other end isn't just wildly out of line. If it's just like 1/8 of an inch out of line, making it so it won't lay flat, you can move this end down here off the table and get this end up here to lay flat. And that's what this square is for there. And these two here, I've already done that, but to go about that, the first thing you need to do is you need to sight down your piece and determine, which sides you think are the best candidates to do this job on. And sometimes all these ones on this whole set that I've made are very straight. They don't curve very much the wrong way. And if you have one that's curved sideways, what I do is I pick that side that curves out to make my flat side. And I get that side flat, and then I take the taper. What we're going to do is we're going to taper the insides of these. When you look at your chair, on those back posts, that all the taper is taken off of the insides, and the outsides are straight. So anyways, if you have a curve, you want to make that the flat side, because you're never going to get, if it's curved like that, you're never going to get this side to be flat and have it be pretty much in line all the way. But if it's curved, if you take it off of this side, then just part of the taper already is taken care of. So anyways, a lot of times, here's a set. A lot of times when you go to do this and you lay it on the table, you'll get a little rock. See that rocking like that? I don't know which side's the best side on these, but you get it, it'll rock. It's like there's a high point right here, and that's quite common And I'm pretty sure what happens is when you bend this, there's a bulge. Some wood actually bulges out sideways and makes a little bump there. So you have to, a lot of times you have to get that bump off. It's right here. But anyways, I did not get that off of there, but that's how I go about doing it. And I've already done that step on these. I've just had to take a little bit off in this area to get these to lay good and flat. And then the next thing we're going to do is on these ends. Oh, where are they at? On these ends, you know, they're about 7/8 of an inch thick this way. We want to make them 7/8 of an inch this way. And you can see that line there, I think. And how I do that is if these will lay flat on your table, I've got a tool here that has a 7/8 inch blade, and I just put that on there and make those marks. And there they are. You saw them already. Those are marked. And what I do is I transfer those marks around the corners. And then I take my chair stick and while I'm at it, I'm going to make the mark. Got to get you guys in the picture. I'm making a mark down here for the taper. And then I'm making a mark up here. There's a taper mark up here. Now let's see what that measurement is. That measurement's like 19 inches up to this taper mark right up here. And this taper mark down here is like, looks like 7 1/4. Taper mark. Here's the other stick. Oh, it says 7 5/16. And this one says 19. So anyways, I make those marks. And then on the bottom, for this bottom taper, you know, I use my little thing here. It's 7/8 circle. Draw a circle on there. That's to make the taper on the bottom. Sounds like I'm yelling to myself, but I hope you can hear this. And those taper marks, you know, you transfer them all the way around. Hand's in the way, I'm sure, but just got to roughly mark them all the way around. But then these other lines here, we need to connect this line up here with these taper marks down here. And how I go about doing that by myself is I've got a fairly flexible ruler. I'm lining it up on this end, and I hold this end of the straight edge with a clamp, with a spring clamp. See that? Got that right on the line, and then I go to this line up here. And draw that line. Got a line drawn there now. And then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing on the back. Draw that line. So now I got a line on the back too. Now that cut, that wood right there, you can remove that on a bandsaw if you want to. And I have done that many a time, but if you do it on the bandsaw, you have to come back and smooth it up. So I'm just going to switch over right now and show you guys. I'm going to draw knife this taper and this taper down here just to show you how I do that. I haven't shown you much draw knifing, and it's kind of, I don't know if you get much out of seeing me do it, because you just have to do it. You have to do it yourself to really see how it goes and what it's like. But anyways, I hope I don't forget to tell you this later, but after we do all this stuff, one of the last steps you're going to do on these pieces is make sure that this front here is smooth and the way you want it before we put the mortises in. And we'll get back to that some more, and I'll remind you about it. Because once we put those mortises in, we can't take very much off of that front face. Anyways, I'm moving my shaving horse into position. I'm going to move the camera a little bit. I'll move the camera over like this so you can see me draw knifing. Anyways, guess I'll do this big end first. Here's my draw knife. But I've got a line on this side and a line on this side, and I'm just going to work down to that line, just on this side over here. Take a little bit out of the middle. Right up here you're taking almost 0. And down here, you saw whatever that is, about 1/2 inch. So I got that side right down to the line. I got that side down to the line. The line's showing pretty heavy. That's okay. Now I'm just going to take off the hose. I'm going to connect this line to this line. Okay. A little bit fat right in there. If you don't feel like you're getting that smooth enough with your draw knife, you can use a spoke shave or a plane on this. I got a little dip in mine right there. It's close enough, it's going to be just fine. Okay, so now I've got the top of this post tapered from full width right here down to 7/8 here. This end is about 7/8 by 7/8 right now. I think that's a good size for this to be. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the taper on this end. Just starting up here from that taper mark. Again, you're taking almost 0 up in this area, but then you got to get down to that line that we drew circle that we drew on the end. And I'm trying to get this pretty smooth now. That we're going to come back later with a spoke shave and sweeten all this up. And after we get our mortises for the slats made, we're going to make this into its final shape. This wood is some kind of white oak. It's dry now. It's pretty hard, tough wood, but it'll shave. Alright, now while I'm at it, I'm going to, this post is allegedly 8-sided right now, but it's not very evenly 8-sided. Some of the sides are way too small. Now you see what happened right there? The grain dove down in on me, and I started pulling too big of a chip out of there. So I'm turning around and going back and getting it in this direction. You gotta be, this white oak is kind of bad for being real catchy. You gotta know, you gotta be able to stop your draw knife when you need to, so you don't tear out too big of a hump when you don't want to. Any big old thing you get like that, you got to get rid of it, and that makes your piece smaller. And you can only make it so small before it is too small. So I'm trying to get this side here, this 8 side, a little bit larger than it was. And then see, this side right here on this corner is small, and this one is big. This one's kind of big. So I can just go up into this bend a little bit. You got to be careful in the back of this bend. Sometimes your grain is crushed and stuff, and you got to be careful that you don't like tear it or get it tearing wrong, and you have to work more than you want to on it. So there, I got that 8 side pretty good. This one's not quite as small as that other side was, but I'm going to take a little bit out. Alright, I guess that's about all that I'm going to show you. But I got the taper on the bottom, taper on the top, and this part in here closer to being even 8 sides. So I'm going to switch the camera back again. Try to not move it too fast. Our time's about up, I think. But one of the things I forgot to tell you, when I first decide which side is going to be the inside and the outside, I lay them down on the table like this, and I write up right on here, and I know that's the side that I'm going to take the taper off of, and so I have a reference where I can always go back to that and go, that's the side that I've chosen to be the upside when they're laying on the table like this. Anyways, here's a pair that I've already done to that point. They both have the tapers on them. They go like this. You see how the taper's in the middle here. And if I turn them like that, that's my upside. If I was to lay them down on the table like that. And that upside is the side that we're going to put the mortises in for the slats. Alright, I told you before, but one of the last things we need to do is really smooth up this face right here and make sure that it's in the condition we want it to be in before we lay out and put our mortises in. And what I'm going to do on those is, you can do them with a spoke shave or a plane or something, but I'm pretty sure that I'm just going to go ahead and do all mine with my sander. I'm just going to lay these on my stationary sander and make sure that that face is just real smooth and not bumpy and whatever. And then later on I'll have to take it with a little finer sandpaper and get it the way I want it. But anyways, that's long enough for a video, and that puts these posts in the proper condition to put the slat mortises in. Anyway, so the next video is going to be putting the mortises in. And if you're just following along with this, when we go to put those mortises in, you're going to need a mortise and chisel. And my mortise chisel it's somewhere close to 3/16. It's more like 200 thousandths thick. And we'll talk about that mortise chisel in the next video. I hope you guys are having a good day out there, whatever day it is for you when you watch this. If you watch it, I guess you're watching it if you're watching it. Anyways, it's sunny here, kind of crisp, 50-ish, I guess, outside. And I'm thankful for what I have, and I thank you guys for watching. And my last couple of videos, I don't know what the deal is. I'm not very good on YouTube, but for some reason the comments are turned off, and I'm going to try to make sure I get the comments turned on, because if you got any questions or anything, I want you to ask them. I'll try to answer the questions. Anyways, I'm going to end this now. Thanks for watching. Bye.